The question is that the motion be agreed to. Kelvin Davis, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Tuatahi māku mihi kawana ki wera o ngā iwi nō rātou tēnei pire. Me ngā memo o aua iwi e nohana kei roto i tō tātou whare. Nā reira mihi kawana ki a koe Rick, rangi tāne, aroha mai e te whanaunga. Koutou katoa mā. Tēnā rā koutou hari kōna kei kone koutou hei whakarongo ki tēnei o ngā pānuitanga tuarua. Mr. Speaker, I'd just like to acknowledge the four iwi who are being settled and also our whanaunga up here in the gallery, and just apologise to Rangi Tāne there for momentarily forgetting his name, from Ngai Takoto and Rick Witana from Te Aupōuri. It's great to have them here, and although other members of the other iwi aren't necessarily here in body, they're certainly here in spirit, and this is just it's great to see this bill progress through the House, because living in the Te Hiku area, I agree entirely with what the Minister's just said, that there are needs up there that need to be met, and the sooner that we can complete this process, get through the second reading and through the committee stages and the third reading, then the sooner the Te Hiku area will benefit from this settlement. I also would like to acknowledge the Māori Affairs Select Committee. I'm not a member of that committee. I did sit on the hearings in Kaitaia to hear those submissions. I'm told that this is the second largest bill ever to come before the House. And if that is the case, it is an absolutely superb undertaking by the Māori Affairs Select Committee to get to the stage where it is now. As the Minister has said, that this is an omnibus bill that provides settlement of a historic treaty of Waitangi claims signed by the four Far North iwi, Ngāti Kuri, Te Aupōuri, Ngai Takoto, Te Rarawa, between 2012 and 2014. It is drafted as an omnibus bill because there are shared aspects in the redress that will be passed into law at the same time. However, it will be broken into its separate bills in the committee stage. Just some items to note from the Select Committee's scrutiny of the bill, and this is getting into a few specifics. The Kohu Police Station land that it sits on, it is contested between Te Uhutai and Te Rarawa. It's declared surplus. Sorry, if it should ever be declared surplus by the Crown, i.e. should that station ever close, Te Rarawa will have the first option to purchase that land. Now, that I believe that police station at the moment is currently looking for an officer, so whether or not that vacancy is filled may actually mean that this land may be declared surplus by the Crown in the next little while. I'm not quite sure what the police's intentions are for that station. Te Uhutai oppose this, and they say that it is Ngāpuhi land and it should be included in Te Uhutai's Ngāpuhi claim. Te Runanga o Te Rarawa support Te Uhutai's claim to the police station land. The Māori Affairs Select Committee was of the view that if the police station is withdrawn from the Te Rarawa settlement, there'd be no guaranteed protection over it before Ngāpuhi settlement is negotiated and provided for in the legislation. So if the police station is declared surplus, in the meantime Te Uhutai could apply for the land to be land banked, but there are no cast iron guarantees the application would be successful or that redress would be negotiated in a Ngāpuhi settlement. Therefore, as the Minister has stated, Te Runanga o Te Rarawa have undertaken to support the changes, any changes that would be taken in what will be known as the Te Rarawa Claims Settlement Bill to accommodate any preferable form of redress through any future Ngāpuhi settlement for Te Uhutai. The Māori Affairs Select Committee did not agree with Te Uhutai's preferred approach, and Te Rarawa have, as the Minister said, provided a letter of commitment to support Te Uhutai, and I thank Te Rarawa for that. There was also some clarification needed to be made clear that the Te Rarawa Claims Settlement Bill does not settle any claims of members of Te Uhutai and Kohatu Taka through the Ngāpuhi whakapapa, and that was just an important clarification. I'd like to touch on the name Te Oneroa Tohe. I'm a direct descendant of Tōhe, the tūpuna. Many people in the north there who don't know their history, don't know whakapapa, don't know the significance of that name, say, well, why would you want to name the beach Te Oneroa Tōhea? Most people up there these days can't even say it or pronounce the name. And I just like to... Māori don't like to give out their whakapapa just willy-nilly, but let me say, Tōhea begat Te Kūranga, who begat Rānini Kura, who begat Rāhingahinga, who begat Rāwhiao, who begat Te Au, who begat Te Hinaki, who begat Waikanai, who married, who cohabitated with Hine Papa, who had Puhi, who married Tu Whāngai, who had Haki, who married Tautoro, who had Whetoi Pomare, who married Rangi Nānanga, who had Tiaho, who married Henry Davis, who had Henare, who married Ngārui Harawene, who had Uru, who married Maora Pānapa, who had Te Wātene, who married Maki, who had Pānapa, who married Glennis, who had myself. That's 17 generations from Tōhea. Let me say for maybe the 3 generations from myself up, my father, my grandparents, and maybe a 4th generation may know Te Oneroa, or have predominantly called Te Oneroa Tōhea 90 Mile Beach. But I can guarantee for the 13 generations above us, Te Oneroa Tōhea was known as Te Oneroa Tōhea. I fully endorse the name Te Oneroa Tōhea and the fact that a board is being set up with the name Te Oneroa Tōhea Board. Now, I was quite annoyed but not surprised to see that there was a headline in the paper saying that this new board is going to open a can of worms. What that can of worms particularly may open, I'm not sure. It didn't say in the report, other than some people are anxious the fact that Māori are going to have co-management opportunities for Te Oneroa Tōhea. Representatives, that board will be made up from representatives from each of the 4 iwi, as well as 4 representatives from the community. And I believe that the 4 community representatives have been selected, one being Monty Knight from the Northern Regional Council, another being Dave Collard from the Far North District Council, and 2 other names that when we hear them we'll know that what have we got to be concerned about, one being the Honourable Dover Samuels and the other being the Honourable John Carter. Those of us who know those 2 gentlemen know that what can we possibly be concerned about. But just to finish off, Mr. Speaker, the role of that board will be to provide governance and direction in order to promote the use, development and protection of Te Oneroa Tōhea 90 Mile Beach Management Area and its resources in a manner which ensures the environmental, economic, social, spiritual and cultural well-being for present and future generations. There's scaremongering that this is a way for iwi to close off the beach, to charge for access. I can assure people that there's no way that that's going to happen, that we'll still be able to use that beach for fishing, for gathering of seafood, just for plain recreation, and that those people on that board are going to make sure that it ensures the environmental, economic, social, spiritual and cultural well-being for present and past generations. That's something that's going to improve and enhance the beach, its health, its wairua for all of us for generations to come. Kia ora.
Ko Nukarako.
A tēnā koe te mana whakawā. E huri no te whare e mihi atu